What's going on, Jeromes? So a lot of people are crying in the breast milk right now. The Vikings allegedly 1-4, and even though their 4 losses have been by a single score to 3 of the best quarterbacks in the league, and Baker Mayfield, the fact is what it is. And the Vikings, as they barrel towards the trade deadline after Week 8, the next 3 games are going to determine their season. 2 in division at the Bears and at the Packers, and of course, Niners Monday Night Football. Dun, 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 dun. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. Also, to add insult to injury, pun intended, Justin freaking Jefferson on IR with that hamstring injury. Now, it's been widely reported the official transaction hasn't gone through yet. I don't know, man. Either way, JJ, even if he was back, would be in a diminished capacity. So saving him from himself is smart at this stage. And, of course, given the JJ injury, given the 1-4 start, given the proximity of the trade deadline, everyone has reopened up the can of worms of trading Kirk Cousins. Like that's all that anyone wants to talk about. Hey, this team should trade for Kirk. Hey, the Vikings should trade Kirk. He's in a contract year. Blah 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 blah. And half the time they ignore that he has no trade clause. I mean, again, no trade clause does not mean that he cannot be traded. It just means that he has veto power. So if he don't want to go, he have to go. Which I'm waiting for the local media jackals to actually just straight up ask him, like, hey, would you waive or no trade clause? I know that he'll just talk around and it's like, you know what, I'm here with the Vikings. We're just trying to win a game and blah, 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 blah. But I don't see it. I really don't see it. And everyone keeps talking about, Kirk to the Jets or, Kirk to the Falcons. And we've been over this a bunch. And apparently some of you guys go super deep. Apparently Cousins' wife has ties to Atlanta. Don't want to go that deep, but the Falcons, Arthur Smith, for whatever reason, is fully committed to Desmond Ridder and actually looked kind of good last game, so I don't think that they're going to make a change there. And also Kirk, he already rejected the Jets once back in 2018, even though the Jets were offering $6 million more than the Vikings. And also, I actually think that Rob Salah and our guy Joe Douglas, I actually feel like they're going to go down with Zach Wilson, who actually has been playing better the last couple of weeks. And also they're probably hoping and praying that Aaron Rodgers is going to be back at some point this season. Plus, the Jets can't actually trade their first or second round pick yet because it's still technically TBD with the Rodgers trade, because it was going to be a first-round pick from the Jets to the Packers if Rodgers played X number of snaps. He's not going to make that threshold, so it would revert to a second-round pick. But since technically that is still open, they can't deal it. So what are the Vikings going to do? Settle for a 2025 first-round pick, or which they don't have either, or a 2024 third-round pick? Ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen, man. So, first off, I don't think the Vikings would have any incentive to do this trade. And number two, I don't think Kirk would waive the no-trade clause for either the Jets or the Falcons. Because also, well, first off, there's no future with the Jets because Rodgers seems like he's going to be returning there next year, maybe in Atlanta. But if Kirk really has eyes for a place, why would he come in midseason and have to learn a new playbook and also have his new team give up trade capital to his old team when he could just sign there in free agency? Because the Vikings literally cannot franchise tag him this offseason. So that doesn't make any sense either. But other reasons why Kirk would not waive his no trade clause. Number one, it would seem like a rat jumping off a ship, a sinking ship. And I don't think that Kirk is that guy. Like, hell, even if the Vikings are 1-7 at the trade deadline, I don't think that he would be champing at the bit to make a move. I just really don't. Number two, no, he's a family guy, as we've seen with Kirk. I mean, Kirk's not going to move to a city without his family. He doesn't strike me as that type of dude from what we've seen from the quarterback documentary. And also, I don't think that he... first off, I think he and his family are very comfortable here in Minnesota. He's a Midwestern dude at heart, and I don't think that he would rip his kids out of school at the middle of their school year, just to play for a couple of months in Atlanta or with the Jets. I really don't see that. 3 is lack of market. So a couple things have to come into place. A team has to be in playoff contention because Kirk Cousins could be a half-season rental, and also they must have a deficiency at quarterback. And I don't see that right now. Like the two teams that everyone talks about, the Falcons and the Jets, I think they're going to roll with their guys that they have in Ridder and Wilson, respectively. And I think it would take it would take just a confluence of events. Like a premier team would have to lose a quarterback to injury. Knocking on all the wood, obviously not wishing for that. But, I mean, would Kirk waive his no trade clause for the Niners? Yes. The Niners, yes. The Eagles, sure. The Dolphins, sure. The Cowboys, the Chiefs, sure. The Bills, reunited with Stephon Diggs. What's up? Well, what's up? But with most of those teams, he would be seen as a mercenary, a half-season rental. So the Vikings probably wouldn't get much in trade. And also, it would have to take their starting quarterback for something to happen to them. And obviously, not wishing that. And who knows what's going to happen these next couple weeks, right? So I don't see it. Also, I mean, Kirk selfishly, like, he wants to get paid in free agency, whether here or somewhere else, and putting up numbers is his ticket to getting a sizable contract, even though he's going to be 36 next fall. Where, I mean, I think that even without JJ, him being in this offense where he knows the pieces, he knows the weapons, is his best ticket to putting up numbers in a contract year headed into free agency. So his agent can wheel and deal and get him the best contract. Now, him going somewhere else, potentially where he's not really a scheme fit, and also having to learn a brand new offense on the fly, that doesn't mesh. It doesn't, man. Also, I think he still thinks that there's a chance for a long-term deal here with the Vikings, and I know that everyone's in heat. They got some heat from their undercarriage of the idea of finding a future franchise quarterback. I'm on board with that too, but also I think there's a non-zero chance that Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell and ownership are like, hey, we're this close. Let's run it back with Kirk. Let's rebuild the trenches, get JJ back healthy, and go from there. Because also, I do think that JJ does have an affinity for Kirk Cousins, even though Kirk is starting to get up there in age. So it would have to be a spot where ownership would have to agree on the trade, and they obviously have a fondness for Kirk Cousins. They approved his historic free agent deal, fully guaranteed in 2018. They signed off on the extensions, and I don't know if they would give Kwesi or O'Connell the green light just to trade him, and no matter how badly the season is going, because also I think it could impact them retaining Justin Jefferson, even though, yes, Kirk is getting a little bit older. So that's a non-starter there. Also, if they're just not going to give him away. Like, they're not going to trade Kirk midseason for like a mid-round pick swap. Yeah, like a Kirk and a fifth for a fourth. Ain't gonna happen, man. So that's a non-starter there. And also, like we said, I don't think Kirk is ever gonna waive his no trade clause unless something dynamite comes out. So win, lose, or draw, I mean, Kirk Cousins, I think, is going to be the starting quarterback for the rest of the way for the Vikings now. I understand, like, if things go extremely wonky, would you want to sit Kirk after the Vikings are essentially eliminated from playoff contention and then roll with Jaren Hall, see what you have there, and then assess in the offseason? Sure, I understand that. But Kirk is the Vikings' best chance. Now, without JJ, it does increase the level of difficulty, but I mean, what's the plan? You going to throw Jaren Hall in there? You're going to throw Colt McCoy in there? Pew, pew, pew. Is that what's going to happen? Nah, man. So the rest of the way, the rest of the league, going to have to Kirk around and find out, because it would be such a Vikings thing to just reel off 3 straight wins and get to 4-4 at the trade deadline. 3 straight wins without JJ. 4 after they beat the Falcons. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But your thoughts on our thoughts. Why no Kirko Trado? Probablyo. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo, but next time, Skull Production Value.